Welcome back to another Minetest Mod review. Today we are looking at the Farming Redo mod. As you can see here, there are a whole bunch of crops that the mod adds to the game. You will find most of them just randomly throughout the map gen. So, for example, I have looks like tomato over here. I think this is a corn plant. Not 100% sure. And I thought there was some more stuff over in here someplace. Where was it at? Ah, here we go. So we have cabbage, beetroot. Again, I think that's corn. Not 100% sure. We got blueberries. There's still the blueberries that are part of Minetest game. And yeah, over here, if we go further out, hopefully I don't lose my farm. There's some more stuff. So we got, I want to say that's garlic, but I could be wrong. That might be onion. There's a tomato. We got some more stuff here. We got some beetroot. We've got, I believe this is lettuce. There's some sunflower. So actually, let's go ahead and bust up the sunflower. So the sunflower will give you sunflower, and then you can craft that to get sunflower seeds, and then on tilled soil you can plant those. Yeah, that gives lettuce. So you can obviously eat it. That's, I think, what most people would use lettuce for, is eating it. Or you could replant it. Parsley. I feel like most people probably don't just eat parsley, and you actually can't even just eat this. It must be used as a... Oh, it has no recipes at the moment. Okay, well, let's go back to the old farm. Assuming I haven't lost it, which would be extremely sad if I did, because that took me like an hour to build. It's a pretty lofty investment for a single video. Here we go. Just right over the hill. So yeah, you'll find most of the crops just in map gen. Specific crops do have specific areas where you are more likely to find them. And if you're really interested in knowing what all of those areas are, just, read the code and you'll find out. So as alluded to earlier, you find them all over the map. You harvest them and you plant them. It's pretty much that simple. So we will start with something that's maybe not so simple. These are green beans, or pole beans. I don't know. I think they're still considered green beans. In order to plant these green beans, yep, and bean poles. So if you take just the old green beans, you can't plant them. What you gotta do is first, I don't know why I opened up inventory there. First, you gotta place out the bean poles, as they're called here, and then you can plant the beans on them. So these would be string beans, right? Bush beans, you don't need to have any kind of support, and I think those are just considered string beans, and they need something to climb on. Same for the grapes. So over here we have the grapes. Yeah, these are grapes, if you couldn't tell. And you have to put out a trellis first before you can plant your grapes. And then when you harvest it, you break the trellis down. I'm going to leave that one up, though. I should have left one of my beans up, too, for demonstration purposes. But oh well. And then you plant them same way as with the green beans. So that makes sense, right? Okay. Here's where it doesn't make sense, and I had to go and look into the code to figure out what in the world this didn't work. So we got soybeans and we got peas, right? And now anybody that's ever had a garden knows that you plant the individual whatever you call a soybean thing, and you plant the individual peas, right? Well, why doesn't it work? Well, here's why. Because you plant the pods. I don't know, man. I don't know. You plant the pea pods for some reason here. Everything else, for the most part, makes sense as to how it works, but not those. So let's quit the yakking and start looking at the different options of plants that we have here. We got the old cucumbers, tasty, but you know, kind of plain. Artichokes that you plant and you harvest and you plant what you harvested, and you can just straight up eat it too. We've got the blackberries, which again, what you harvest is what you plant. We got cabbage, same thing. What you harvest is what you plant. We got carrots. For the most part, what you harvest is what you plant. I got to eat all these carrots up. Some chili peppers. Again, same thing there. Coffee beans. Those you can eat, which is probably really no surprise, but you can turn them into coffee, which we'll look at in a little bit. We got corn, which, again, same thing. You can eat it raw. You can also cook it, but we'll look at those in a minute. Garlic. Garlic is one where you don't plant what you harvest. And this follows through to real life as well. So when you harvest garlic, you get a, what do they call that? I think it's called a knot, but I could be wrong. Not 100% sure. And generally speaking, you take it and you like smack it on a table or something, and that'll make the individual cloves kind of split apart from each other, and that's what you plant. Now, if we want to get super technical, normally you would plant the garlic clove in the fall before the soil freezes, and then you can harvest it the next year. But seeing as how there's really no concept of seasons, and you can pretty much plant and harvest at any point, yeah, that really wouldn't make a lot of sense here. We got, this was lettuce, right? Yep. You can eat, you plant what you eat, or you plant what you harvest, rather. Yeah, what was this? This is onion, okay. Onion, you plant the whole onion. So again, you're planting what you're harvesting. I don't know what this is. Whatever it is, it's something I already have in my inventory. Oh, it's more parsley. Yeah, so you can't even eat that. There's peppers. Now this one I'm not sure on, and I'm gonna pull this up right away because see, there's this, and I don't really understand. So you have pepper, but then you also have red pepper, and you have yellow pepper, and then you harvest peppers. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest a couple more of these peppers. Right, so I've got 7 peppers. You want to plant your peppers. These ones you have to do some crafting. You get peppercorn. I don't know how accurate that actually is. I've never harvested seeds from peppers. You plant it and you get a new pepper plant. Now when they grow, and we'll come back to it later, and hopefully it will have showed these different stages, there is a point where there's yellow and green peppers on it. So I don't know if you have to dig it at that point or harvest it at that point to get the yellow and green peppers. But either way, all of your peppers you can get peppercorns from, and you can use peppercorns to make ground pepper. Or vegan cheese. Wait, what? They put pepper in vegan cheese? That's kind of weird. Pineapples. These you don't plant what you harvest. So you have to craft it. You get pineapple rings, and that'll give you a pineapple top back. And then you plant the pineapple top for a new pineapple plant, which I believe is more or less actually how you can grow pineapples. You grow a pineapple plant. I've never done it myself, but I know, like, from the store, if you chop top of a pineapple off, you can throw it in a dish, and I'm pretty sure it'll grow. I don't know if you'll actually get a whole new pineapple out of it. You might want to fact check that one, because that could be a lie. Potatoes, just like real life. Well, more or less just like real life. You plant a full potato and you get a potato plant. And you can do that. Usually it's recommended you cut your potatoes up into wedges with 1 eye or 2 eyes per section, and then you plant those. And just a better way of, you get a higher yield for your input. But yeah, pretty much you could throw a whole potato in the ground and it should grow into a potato plant as well. Potatoes, once you cook them, are excellent foods, but you can eat them raw as well. They are one of the best foods I have found in my experience for getting a good bang for your buck as far as healing goes. This rhubarb has not fully matured yet, so I don't believe I can harvest it. Yeah, I just wasted that. But you plant what you harvest with the rhubarb as well. And then we have grains. Grains are goofy, man. So you get barley, but you also get barley seed. But what is the actual grain on the barley? Well, it's more barley seed. So I don't understand that really. But that's the way it works. I included cotton here just for completeness sake, but it's the exact same as your standard cotton from Minetest game. So nothing too special about it there. Yeah, it's part of the farming mod now because it replaces it with the exact same thing. I don't know if it's really technically a replacement then. We've got hemp, which I've never tried growing, so I don't know how this actually works in real life. But you get seeds, you plant the seeds, you get hemp leaves. You can do some stuff, we'll look at that later. Turn it into, what do they call that? Pulp. And then you can use that to make like ropes and stuff. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, mint. Okay, I've never grown mint. But you get mint seeds, so you can replant more mint, and you get mint leaf, which I believe you can use for a drink. We've got oats, which again, just like the wheat over here, or barley, whatever that was. You get oat seed and oats, but oat seeds are literally oats. And we'll notice, I know you can't see it in my inventory right now, but we get the same thing with the rice. We get rice, but then we also get rice grains, which are technically rice. We get rye and we get rye seed, but rye seed is technically rye. It's kind of confusing, okay? I'm not gonna lie. That's one little bit about this that I've never figured out. Like, why do I get barley seeds when I get barley when they're both the same thing? In my personal opinion, and how I've re-implemented this in my games, is that you thresh the harvested material here, and that gives you seeds and straw. But, you know, that's not how this was made. Continuing on, yes, there was enough that I had to make a second loop here. We've got this thing. Oh, this is more peas. So again, you plant the pea pod, not the actual peas themselves. No, I am curious. Okay, so it only drops the pod. And then if you want the actual peas, you have to craft the pod into the peas. We got beetroots, or as I have always heard them referred to, beets. I don't know, that's just how I've always heard it called. The soy pods, again, the same thing there. You gotta do that. Here we are back to the original of those. We got raspberries, which, whoops, you're just gonna plant the self-same thing. Now, anybody who has any real experience with raspberries knows that they're weeds. And once you plant them and they kind of get established, you're stuck with them. You really can't get rid of them. The branch hits the ground and it kind of just pops out new roots. It's great if you want to grow a bunch of them, but if you're just trying to grow one or two, yeah, maybe don't try. Sunflowers, this is a little more worthwhile than just the sunflower that comes with Minetest game, which I didn't see any in my quick flying around here. But yeah, you take sunflowers, you craft them into sunflower seeds, and then you plant the seed. And you can also roast the seed, and I believe you can get oil from them, but again, we'll look at those in a minute here. Again, with wheat, you get wheat seeds, you also get wheat. I don't know, man. I didn't design that. That's kind of goofy to me. Tomatoes, you just plant a tomato. That's pretty straightforward. And then grapes we already looked at. Watermelon and pumpkin. So these are kind of interesting. These did not grow the way I expected them to grow at all. Maybe that's just how they grow now, though. Oh wait, I think it's just called melon. Yeah. So if you want to plant a melon, so first off, you harvest your melon and you get a melon block, which you can place it. You could build the house out of melon blocks if you wanted. But if you want to plant your melon and get more melons, you do need a cutting board, and then you get 4 melon slices. And then if you take a melon slice, you can pop that sucker on the ground and it'll grow into a new melon plant. And then the same thing with the pumpkin. You take the pumpkin and you use that on a cutting board. You craft it with the cutting board, however you want to phrase that. And that'll give you pumpkin slices, and then you take a pumpkin slice and you plant that, and it'll grow into a new pumpkin plant. Clearly, we've already looked at those because some of these are harvested. So we shall continue on to some of the other things. Now, I'll mention this real quickly. If you're playing with the Ethereal mod, you get this handy dandy, what do you call this thing again? A scythe, right? Yeah, you get a scythe. And this will let you harvest a plant without actually breaking it all the way, so that you don't actually have to replant everything, which is kind of nice, You also get an added bonus that you get to keep all of your seeds, which in some cases the seeds are worthless, and in some cases you can actually use the seeds for stuff, so it's not without its bonuses. But again, you have to use the mithril, or the Ethereal mod in order to get that, so and we won't cover that in too great a detail. The banana, the pumpkin, the orange, and the strawberry are actually from the Ethereal mod as well. So I'm not really sure why they're showing up here because I'm not using the Ethereal mod. But onto the different things that you can use your foods for. So you'll see here, we got like 2.25 pages worth of recipes or so, or items at least. So the artichoke, it's pretty much just an artichoke. The baked potato, once you bake it, you can turn it into cucumber and potato salad. Tasty. We can make an apple pie, right? Yeah. With a baking tray. You do get the baking tray back once you're done cooking it. So you don't have to create a new baking tray every time, which is pretty nice. You can make beet soup. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Bibimbap? No idea. But yeah, it actually doesn't look terrible. Rice, cabbage, carrot, some chili pepper, some mushroom, a bowl and a skillet. I expect you saute the mushroom, fry the rice, shred the cabbage, probably finely slice the carrot and chili pepper, and kind of do a stir fry kind of thing. I don't even know if this is an actual real food. Just to show you how uncultured I am. There's also blueberry pie, which, much like the apple pie, uses a baking pan. Corn, in case you don't want to eat your corn, you can turn it into ethanol, which you use for vanilla extract. Okay. And for vegan cheese. I thought ethanol was a fuel. Interesting. I would have thought you'd use alcohol for that. Oh well. Shows how much I know. Let's get back to where we want to be. So you can make bread out of many of your different flours. You just need a mortar and pestle to grind up your grains here into the flours, and then you can also make a multi-grain, which uses one of each instead of all of a single. You can turn your bread into slices of bread, and then you can, I believe, toast the slices of bread, yes. And you can make a toast sandwich in case you were poor when you grew up and that was a staple. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I've never heard of toast sandwiches. I have heard of toast and sugar sandwiches, which, that sounds terrible. But this, my friends, this sounds amazing. A burger. We've got bread, a tofu, I guess. I would prefer steak, but sure. Some vegan cheese, that's because it's the only cheese available here. So you kind of can't pick real cheese if there's not a real cheese available. Tomato, cucumber. I think that would actually be pickle, but whatever. Onion and lettuce. So, you know, pretty scrumptious there, I expect. Cabbage, I half expect to be able to make into, okay, I don't know what that is. Let's say you should make it into sauerkraut. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because I don't even know how to begin to try to pronounce that. But yeah, it uses cabbage, garlic, onion, some flour, some tofu, and salt. Yeah. Cactus juice. I mean, I don't know what it tastes like, but that is a real thing. You can make caramel, dude. Cook sugar down to caramel. While doing that, make sure you stir it pretty much constantly and keep a very close eye on the temperature. Otherwise, you will burn the sugar and it'll pretty much turn into a rock. And you just kind of have to dissolve it with water to clean the pot out. I'm not speaking from personal experience, of course, but I've heard horror stories about that. The juicer, you can tell it just makes juices. Oh, you know what? We didn't mention the cocoa beans. So cocoa beans, from what I could find here, you can't actually grow the cocoa plant. You'll find it just kind of randomly in jungles, on the jungle trees. I want to say it's like a big red fruit. Is cocoa technically a fruit? I don't know. But it's kind of like a red thing hanging off the jungle trees, and you can harvest it from there and get your cocoa beans to make your chocolates and chocolate chip cookies as well. Bowl of chili. Does anybody actually put green beans in their chili? I don't. But otherwise, yeah, that looks pretty good. Continuing on, yes, so we have the raw corn, which we can turn into ethanol. Somehow, there we go. We can cook the corn to make corn on the cob. Of course, we could also eat the corn raw, as we seen earlier. You can make cornstarch, which I assume is used for more cooking recipes. We got some different donuts with different glaze. Those are glazes, right? Yeah, that's glazing. Unfortunately, you can't make this, but that looks pretty good. We got garlic bread. We have a glass of water. That must be needed for some cooking recipe. Oh, okay, it is. I was going to say, because I don't know what else you'd need that for. I guess you can craft grapes since purple dye. Didn't know that. Here we go, the hemp. So you can make hemp blocks. How do you make the hemp blocks if they don't? That's weird. Yeah, how do you turn this into a hemp block? What? How do you just get the... Ah, there we go. 9 hemp fiber will get you a hemp block. You can get hemp fiber like this. And you can also turn this into a bottle of hemp oil, which I assume is used as a fuel. I think you can also use it as a cooking oil, but don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's a good oil that you would want to use in cooking. I do know that hemp is an extremely versatile plant. You can use it to make ropes. You can use hemp fiber in something to make a lightweight insulation that's fire retardant. There's a lot of pretty neat stuff that you can make out of hemp. So, just the more you know. I know in some places, I think it's illegal to grow. So check your local laws before you, start messing around with growing hemp and turning it into stuff, because potentially you could get in trouble, which is unfortunate. Okay, so here we've got a salad, for salad people. And I don't even know how I found that, because that's not what I was... Oh, I see, because I was clicking. Here we go, the mint. So you can indeed make mint tea, which sounds amazing, by the way. You can make mochi and some kind of a Japanese dessert, I think. I'm not positive. I've never had it. Blueberry muffins. Tasty. A little igloo, but I don't know what this is all about. You can't craft it and you can't use it. So maybe it's something that will be available at some point. Onion soup, we got... Oh, I was going to say this is pizza, but this is not pizza. It's also, you can't craft it at the moment. Pea soup. Disgusting. We're back to the peppers. You know what? Let Let me find these pepper plants. Okay, here. So these ones now have green peppers on them. So let me see. If I harvest it, I get green peppers. Okay. So if we let this sit till we get the yellow peppers on them, I would think we will get yellow peppers as well, possibly. Actually, may as well left that open so we can continue on. I can kind of see slightly through the background there. Good. So we got all the different peppers as we've seen before. The pineapple, you can turn to the pineapple rings. I believe also pineapple juice is available. Popcorn. Because who doesn't love popcorn, right? Take some corn, take a little bit of oil, a cooking pot, and a, what do they call these things? A carton? A popcorn carton will materialize out of nothing. I assume you get the pot back. And you have a tasty bowl of popcorn. Porridge. I don't know, I've always heard that called oatmeal, but, you know, same difference, I suppose. If you're the three little bears, or wait, not the three little bears, the three bears and, what was the girl's name? Does she even have a name? I'm sure she did. But you'd go eat the bear's porridge, potato omelet, but unfortunately you can't make that, which is a shame because that sounds delicious. I should note, the reason some of these may not have uses is because they may be depending on other mods, such as the mobs mod, to like get, I don't know, eggs or milk or meat. And so that could be some of the reason why some of these are not craftable in the current state. Pumpkin bread, blah, blah, blah. We got rhubarb pie. We got some more different breads. We've got rose water. I don't know what you would use rose water for. We have salt. There's salt crystal, which you can make from salt. Okay. We got the jack-o'-lantern scarecrow bottom thing, which we've seen out here on the map already. A couple different drinks. We got a smoothie. We got some we got some spaghetti. And Spanish potatoes, but again, those I think just need another something different to be able to use them. Sunflower bread. I didn't know that was a thing till I looked at this mod here. We got the tofu raw, I'm assuming, and cooked. Yep. And we got some tomato soup. Turkish delight. We got vanilla, which you can craft into vanilla extract, which I guess you use in soy milk. And that's it. And then we have the wheat, which, you know, you can turn into some different plants. Or to turn into some different foods. These guys don't seem to want to grow, so that's cool. This rhubarb is really growing super slow, so that's cool as well. And it's actually not, but that's fine. It's growing well enough. The jack-o'-lantern can be turned on and off by punching it. You know, the more you know, right? And that's pretty much it. You do obviously have to have, maybe this isn't obvious, you do have to have water around your soil for the soil to be, I don't know if fertile is the right word, but in order for the plants to really grow on it, they need to have moist soil, I suppose. Although there are some mods that let you kind of get away without having water if you have like a compost soil or something. I guess that just retains moisture well enough that the plant can live without having a nearby water source. But yeah, there you go. The farming redo mod, it builds upon and adds a lot of new plants and the features to farming within Minetest, greatly opening up your, you know, your food options. So instead of only having apples and mushrooms, I think are really the only foods that are available in the default game. Bread might be in there as well. I think bread is, because wheat's part of default. So you probably have like 3 or 4 foods that are available to you normally, and with this mod you have like, I don't know, 20 or 30 foods maybe? That might be a bit of a stretch, but there's a lot more than you would have if you didn't have this mod installed. So, there you go. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week for another video, and I will see you then.